Did you know that Spider-Man, Power Rangers, and Godzilla were all a part of the same genre? Hey, welcome to Infinite Repeat. I'm your host Nate, and I wanted to talk about Tokusatsu and why I love it so much. Now, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. First things first, what is Tokusatsu? Well, the literal translation is special filming. Basically, any live-action show or movie that relies heavily on special effects, ranging from CGI to practical to dudes in rubber suits. So, Avengers technically is Tokusatsu. However, usually in the fandom, Tokusatsu is referred to Japanese shows and movies like Godzilla, or for Western audiences, Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers? You've gotta be joking.
But you've heard of these ones. What you haven't probably heard of is Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Metal Heroes, Garou. I haven't even watched Garou yet, but I've heard it's pretty awesome. And there is years and years of shows going back to the 60s. Guaranteed, you've seen Toku in some shape or form, including its influences. Pacific Rim, Ant-Man, hell, even Jurassic Park and Jaws were influenced by Godzilla, if it wasn't obvious. There are countless examples. Now, how would I describe these shows? Well, they're live-action anime. And I know, that sounds terrible. I mean, we already have live-action anime aplenty, and it's typically bad. Well, doesn't that mean that Tokusatsu is also bad and lame? Well, yeah, sometimes. There's actually a lot of over-the-top acting and voice acting. Heck, if anyone remembers the original Mighty Morphin, the show feels like a bad sitcom now.
Leave us alone, Bulk.
Oh yeah? Make me. Yeah. Make me. Him. Make him.
Costumes of the older shows don't hold up, in my opinion. Even some of the new ones aren't that great. But for every bad costume, there are some genuinely good, even great ones. And for every goofy scene, there is intense and emotional scenes. CGI is bad sometimes. Actually, CGI is still pretty bad. But none of that really matters when the actors and the creative team are giving it their all and have love and passion behind it. I mean, there are 3 things I love in life: giant robots, superheroes, and martial arts. And you're telling me there's a show that week to week has all 3 of these things? Sign me right up. My first love, of course, is Power Rangers. A group of teenagers that chosen at random to fight evil. Heck, made me believe I could be a Power Ranger. Then I remember I have 0 athletic ability, so, kid had a dream. And I also had to come to terms with the fact that Power Rangers was an adaptation of Super Sentai, using footage and costumes to making their own show with American actors and dubbing over the footage. Very similar to anime. Power Rangers isn't the only adaptation, though. There's VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, Kamen Rider Dragonite, Superhero Samurai Cyber Squad. What were they thinking with that name? All based on existing properties. I haven't seen some of these shows since I was a kid, and they're probably actually still terrible, but that's that 90s charm for you. Some of it good, some of it very bad, and whatever the heck this is. So, what's the appeal? Why would you, Joe Smo, be interested in a Japanese superhero show when there's already so much superhero media nowadays? Heck, you can't go 2 seconds on the internet without hearing about the new Marvel show or movie. Now, there's even popular superhero anime shows now. But I believe what makes these shows stand out is the creative freedom that goes into each show. All the shows are allowed to be different from tone to concept and themes. Now, there are some similarity between the shows. Most of the times, the main character ranges from either edgy badass or a super nice guy who wants to be friends with everyone. But again, not always the case. Unlike, say, the MCU, where most of the movies and shows, after a while, just had the same consistent look and feel to them. Which makes sense, that's one continuous universe. Tokusatsu's case, all the seasons take place in their own universes, except when they don't. You could literally spin a wheel and land on a different Tokusatsu experience. You want a Robocop-inspired show? We got that. What about a cops and robbers show? Yep. High school kids fighting demons? Check. Or how about you like giant monsters? Trust me, we got a lot of those. How about a season where majority of the team are furries from a weird furry kingdom? But don't worry, they can look human sometimes, and these shows are pretty weird. But also there's the finality of the shows. Most mainstream anime just keeps competing with trying to be the next long-running show. And superheroes, at least in the comics, are always going to keep going. Characters don't age or die for that matter, and if they do die, they eventually come back. Each season of Toku is its own contained season, with new characters, new powers, new villains. And yeah, there's some cameos in movies, but that's all fan service stuff. And you don't need to be a long-term fan to enjoy these things. And yes, sometimes I have to turn my brain off because I'm literally watching a toy commercial. A really obvious toy commercial. I mean, that's not even a dude in a costume. That's the toy. That's the toy. But I understand. You gotta pay the bill somehow. And it obviously works on me. I bought the damn things. In conclusion, I love these shows. And I haven't watched everything, and I'm not an expert. Just a fan who wants to get maybe more people interested. And if this video did pique your curiosity, good news, because now it's getting a lot easier to consume this media legally. The good old boys at Shout Factor have been working to localize multiple shows and movies. Some you can even buy on Blu-ray or DVD right now. Also, you can watch some shows on Amazon Prime. And there's also the Toei Tokusatsu World official YouTube channel that's been regularly posting episodes and some movies. Not all in English, usually just the first 2 episodes, but hey, it's there. As long as you're not afraid of subtitles. Power Rangers used to be all on Netflix, but now it's just the original and the most recent seasons. But there's also the Power Rangers official YouTube channel that I'm pretty sure has all the seasons on it. But Nate, I hear you dear viewers screaming at me. There's decades of television. Where do I begin? Well, if you ask the kid version of me, I would just pick the seasons with the heroes with the coolest costumes. But if you want my own recommendations, my personal favorites are Kamen Rider Build, Lupin Ranger vs. Pat Ranger, Ultraman Greed, and Power Rangers RPM. So, that's it for me. Thanks for checking out my video and my channel. Follow me on other social media apps if you're interested. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Infinite Repeat. I've been Nate. Stay up.